Once upon a time, under a quiet silver moon, a group of travelers gathered around an old storyteller. His voice was soft. His words moved like warm wind across tired hearts. And he began a tale about a man everyone called the Fool, and how he became the one who taught kings. There was once a man named Loro. He lived in a small town where the river met the dusty road. People laughed at him often, not because he was slow, but because he spoke little, walked simply, and never tried to look impressive. He carried tools in a worn bag. He spent his days repairing broken pots, chairs, and clocks. His work was quiet. His presence was gentle. Yet everyone called him Loro the Fool, the man who didn't know how to succeed, the man who didn't aim high, the man who didn't try to look important. But Loro held a secret struggle in his heart. Not anger, not shame, something more human, a question that often kept him awake at night. If people do not see my worth, does it mean I have none? This question sat heavy on his chest. He wanted to be respected. He wanted to be seen. Yet he feared becoming someone he was not. So he stayed silent. He chose humility even when it hurt. One hot afternoon, news spread across the land. The king was troubled. His council argued every day. The kingdom was losing direction. Wisdom had grown thin in the palace. So the king announced, "I will welcome any voice, common or noble, who can help restore clarity in this land." People rushed toward the palace gate. Scholars, merchants, proud men with polished shoes, each claiming they carried the answers the king needed. Loro walked with them, not because he thought he was wise, but because something inside him whispered, "Sometimes a quiet voice can mend what loud voices break." Still, he felt small as he entered the grand hall. The walls shone like morning light. The air smelled of power. He almost turned back, but his feet stayed rooted. One by one, the proud men spoke. Their voices were sharp. Their ideas were heavy with ego, each trying to sound smarter than the last. Arguments grew louder. The king's face darkened. Nothing they said brought peace. Then someone noticed Loro standing at the back. "Why is he here?" a noble sneered. "He can barely speak. He fixes pots. Let the fool leave." Laughter filled the room. Loro lowered his eyes. His heart trembled. All his old doubts tried to rise again. But then, the catalyst moment arrived. The king lifted his hand. Silence fell. "Let him speak," the king said. "Wisdom does not always come dressed in fine clothes." Loro stepped forward. His hands shook. His voice was soft. But each word carried honesty, the kind that comes from a life of observing quietly. He said, "Your Majesty, when a pot comes to me broken, I do not blame the cracks. I look for where the pressure began. People break in the same way. This kingdom is not lost because people disagree. It is lost because no one listens long enough to understand the crack beneath the noise." The hall went still. The proud men shifted uncomfortably. But the king leaned closer. "Continue," he said gently. Loro swallowed and spoke again. "You cannot fix anything by trying to look smarter than others. You fix it by caring more than others. A pot holds water because its walls lean on each other. A kingdom stands for the same reason. Let each man speak, but let each man listen twice." The king closed his eyes. A long breath left him, the kind a tired man releases when truth finally finds him. The next days changed everything. The king called for listening circles. He asked for less pride and more patience among his council. He invited farmers, children, elders, anyone who held a piece of truth. Slowly, disagreement softened. Understanding returned. The land found its balance again. And people began to whisper a new name. Loro the fool who taught kings. But Loro? He returned to his small repair shop. Still humble. Still quiet. Still mending broken things with gentle hands. When asked why he didn't stay in the palace, he simply smiled and said, A man does not need a crown to carry wisdom, only a heart that listens. Years passed. The story of Loro traveled far, not because he tried to look wise, but because he lived truthfully. And under every moonlit night, when travelers shared stories, his name rose again, a reminder that greatness is not loud, and true wisdom has no pride. True wisdom grows in humble hearts, not loud ones. Listening is sometimes the most powerful form of leadership. You do not need recognition to hold value. Worth begins within. Pride builds walls, humility builds bridges. A quiet voice can heal what loud voices break. If this story touched your heart, let it touch someone else. Share it with someone who needs its light tonight.